Hi Reddit, I really need your perspectives on something that's been weighing heavily on my mind. I'm not sure if this is the right place to post, so please let me know if this belongs in another subreddit. It's a complex story, and honestly, I've only had a day to reflect on all of this. Until now, I've been mostly oblivious, even though, in retrospect, there were signs I missed. I need to know. Am I wrong for letting my best friend's wife fall in love with me? To give you some context, she, my best friend, her husband, and I have known each other for 14 years. We've been through so much together. I consider them family, and they've been a pillar of support for me, especially after I recently lost my mom. They have 2 kids, and I'm the godfather. Our lives are deeply intertwined, and I've always loved them equally, like family. But now, things have taken a turn that's left me feeling conflicted and guilty. Here's what happened. Last Saturday, I went to a rave with my best friend's wife. He couldn't come because he had to watch the kids, so it was just the 2 of us. Afterward, she was supposed to stay at my place to rest up. Originally, I planned for her to have her own room, but due to my mom's passing, that room was filled with stuff. With no other option, she decided to sleep in my bed. At the time, I didn't think much of it. I mean, we're close, and I didn't have any feelings for her beyond friendship. I also trusted that nothing inappropriate would happen, and I believed our love for each other was purely platonic. The party itself was fun. We danced, held hands to navigate through the crowd, and exchanged some small talk. Nothing out of the ordinary, but during the car ride home, things took an unexpected turn. She started opening up about her relationship with her husband, confessing that he had been physically abusive, not just to her, but also to their eldest child. Hearing that broke me. I had no idea things had gotten that bad behind closed doors. Although there was one incident many years ago when I saw him act aggressively towards her, and I called him out on it. At the time, he apologized and promised it wouldn't happen again, but apparently it did. That conversation made me see my best friend differently. It hurt, because on the surface, he's always been there for me. The kind of friend who would drop everything to help me in a crisis. But now, knowing what's been happening in his family, I can't respect him the same way. It also made me view his wife differently, not because of the abuse, but because I started to feel something more for her. And that's where things got messy. When we got back to my place, I made her some soup, let her shower, and then we went to bed. I stayed downstairs for a while, reflecting on the night and my mom's passing, and by the time I went to bed, she was still awake. We talked for a bit, and then we tried to sleep. I had this gnawing feeling that something was shifting between us. She gave me a lot of compliments during the night, about how I dressed, how I smelled, how I handled life. Small things, but they started to add up. Throughout the night, I was hyper-aware of the situation. I wore pajamas, which I never do, and I kept my hands above the blanket, not wanting to cross any boundaries. But as the night went on, she shifted closer to me in bed, to the point where she was lying on my side and using one of my pillows. Nothing physical happened, but her presence so close to me felt intimate. And that's when I realized she might have feelings for me. By morning, I felt an overwhelming sense of relief that nothing inappropriate had occurred, but also a lot of regret for letting her sleep in my bed. I didn't want to betray my best friend, but I also couldn't shake the emotions I was feeling. Now I'm stuck. I feel like I've allowed her to fall for me, and I know deep down I reciprocate those feelings. Reluctantly, but I do. And it makes me feel horrible. I never intended for any of this to happen, but now I'm at a crossroads. After that night, I made a decision to never bring it up again. I figured it was a one-time, complicated moment, and neither she nor I needed to complicate things any further. So, we went on with our lives like nothing had changed. I didn't talk to my best friend about it, and neither did she. It was almost as if we silently agreed to forget that night ever happened. Weeks went by, and things returned to normal, at least on the surface. We all continued to hang out, go to family gatherings, and everything felt familiar. But deep down, something was different. There was this unspoken tension between us, this silent understanding that we'd crossed a line, even if nothing physical had happened that night. But then, one evening, everything unraveled. It was a regular weekend night, and we all got together at my best friend's place for dinner. The kids were in bed, and we were all sitting outside having a few drinks. My best friend eventually called it a night, saying he had to get up early for work. She and I stayed up a little longer, sitting in the dim light of the patio, sipping on our drinks and talking. It started out innocently enough. We were reminiscing about old times, laughing about silly memories. But eventually, the conversation shifted. She brought up that night, casually at first, almost testing the waters to see how I'd respond. I tried to brush it off, acting like it wasn't a big deal. But then she looked me in the eyes and said, "We both know it's more than that." I didn't have an answer. I could feel my pulse racing, knowing that we were treading dangerous ground. She moved closer, and before I knew it, we were kissing. It was one of those moments where time just stops. The world felt small, like it was just the two of us. After that, everything escalated quickly. It was intense, passionate, and completely wrong. We crossed the line we swore we'd never cross, and in that moment, all the guilt and reservations melted away. For a while, it felt like we were the only people in the world. I lifted her up and went to a room, and we have done it top to bottom. When it was over, reality hit me like a ton of bricks. We had done everything I told myself we wouldn't. I didn't know what to feel. Shame, regret, confusion, all of it mixed together. She left shortly after, and we both silently agreed to never speak of it again. But now, I'm stuck. I've betrayed my best friend in the worst possible way, and I can't look him in the eye without feeling like a fraud. She and I still act like nothing happened, but it's there, lingering in the air every time we're in the same room. The weight of what we did is suffocating, and I don't know how long I can carry it. Now I'm asking for advice. Do I come clean and risk destroying everything? Or do I keep this secret buried and hope it never comes to light? I know what I did was wrong, but I'm lost on how to fix this without tearing apart the people I love.
If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like this video, hit that subscribe button, and stay tuned for more. Things are about to get intense.